And Wasan, where are you joining us from?
I'm in Colorado. I'm in the United States.
You're in the United States. Terrific, terrific. And then John, where are you joining us from?
Concord, California, Bay Area.
There we go. Yeah, Bay Area in the house.
Hello, Augustine. How are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So glad that you could join us today. It's wonderful.
It's a miracle for me to join today. It was not gonna be easy, but I'm just glad I'm here.
I'm so glad that you're here. And where are you joining us from?
I'm in Jinja, Uganda.
Amazing. Amazing.
Wow. Wow, well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, midnight. Okay.
Yeah.
And then hello, Ms. Dominique. How are you today?
Hey, Dominique. Hello, hello.
Hello, I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Where are you joining us from?
Tampa, Florida, but originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. I just recently, not recent, October, I moved to Tampa, Florida. So
And then, of course, we have our fearless leader, Ashanti Branch, the founder and executive director of Ever Forward Club. He's there with us as well. Hello, Ashanti.
Uh, Thank you everybody for being here. Good to see you all.
First of all, wanted to say welcome. Thank you all, and I'll definitely address that in a moment. Thank you all for joining us at our Ever Forward Club's Global Young Men's Conference call. All of you are here because you're really committed or really interested in what it would take to actually host a local gathering in your community to support the young men, grades 6 through 12 in your communities. Or you can join us here in Oakland in person in November. So thank you all for being here. Yes. So first, what I'd love for all of us to do, if you can, and if you're not driving, is in the chat, feel free to introduce yourself, share your name, where you're from. I think with the small group that we have, I think we all just shared it audibly, but if that's something you'd like to share. And then ongoingly, if you have any questions that come up, please feel free to put it in the chat. And I think because we have a small intimate group here, we'll probably move through our materials pretty rapidly. So um, that I have, and we'll begin. So I think we've done introductions. Anything else, Ashanti, for you that we should keep in mind? So, um, so what we're going to cover today are just kind of these high level topics. One is a welcome, really, what is the purpose of the Global Young Men's Conference? Also, what is the purpose of Ever Forward Club? Then we'll move into the Young Men's Conference. We'll have you meet different members of our team as well, so you know who to go to for what as we build this amazing campaign globally and then locally leading towards November. Then we also have a partner toolkit. We'll share with you where you can find additional materials and resources that you can use for posting on social media and things like that. And then we'll also have a brief question and answer. And of course, you're welcome to share your questions in the chat. And then we'll talk about next steps. Um, any questions, thoughts, concerns so far?
I think I might drop off. The reason being, I may have misunderstood what today's Zoom was about. I didn't know it was about holding a conference. I thought it was like just learning more about the tools and the resources available for my son. So I'm not really for sure.
Okay, sure, absolutely. You're totally welcome to continue joining us, Dominique, and just listen in or hop off. One thing that I did want to share with you is we do have a online community that's advocates for young men, and that in that community, it's about 1,100 folks. You can find folks who are sharing resources. We're always sharing resources as well. Are you part of that community?
Yeah, she's
I am. I think
she's
that's
part of
how I found this, and it came up. And I don't. Maybe I didn't read it thoroughly, but Yeah, I wasn't thinking about hosting.
Monique, one of the things that, and this is actually great. I'm glad you asked the question early because one of the things that we are trying to put information out in lots of these places on LinkedIn, Facebook, social media, and what we know is that there was some confusion right around how does someone participate from Florida all the way in Oakland, right? One of the things I think we want to ensure is that if you have a coach, teacher, a male in your community who you already trust and have confidence in, we would ask you to help us connect to that person because maybe the resources you're looking for your son, like that person can help put on that gathering that day. Right. So if you don't have anyone, then what we're asking you to do, all the advocates, whether you're a parent, teacher, is to help us connect with your child's school. And maybe we could convince one of them, those teachers, to do the event for your son and a couple of his friends, right? The goal is we're trying to if we can convince, and we don't want to convince people, but if we can convince people to realize that we're not asking anyone to go out and start their own organization. We're saying in our communities, we know there's a lack of supports sometimes for our young men. Young men are saying aloud and clear, where is the stuff for us? And what we're asking the community to do is say, look, I can just get my nephew and his friend together. We're going to go to the park. We're going to have some food and some fun. We're trying to just get the community to see if I can just do a small part. So for you, you don't have to stay, but I want you to know that, and we'll have another meeting next month, and we'll have another meeting in October. But you can help us connect to 2 or 3 things: your son's school, a teacher at that school who you trust or who you have a connection with, and then let's get that school doing something for more young men at that school, or someone in your community who you already have a connection with, and have them join the advocates and say, hey, would you host an event for 3 or 5 young men on this day? That's the ask. So thank you for naming that, and we want to make sure that we get you the support for your son that you're looking for. How old is your son, by the way? I want to make sure I get the right age.
He just turned 15 this summer,
All right,
and that
perfect.
actually makes sense, and that's a really good idea. Does it have to be male led?
It doesn't have to be, and if so, yeah, the answer is no. The answer is no.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll stay.
Okay. Thank you, Dominique, and thanks for asking. I think that's a great question, and we'll make sure in the further information we put out for the next calls, we'll put a FAQ there, and we'll just answer some of those questions too. All right, Parth, it's back on you. Thank you, Dominique. Appreciate you asking that.
Terrific. And because it's a small group here, everyone, if you have questions, please feel free to interrupt as well. Great. So we wanted to share with you a little bit about Ever Forward Club. You'll also notice that on the bottom right corner, there are different QR codes that'll take you to different pages. So if you want to learn more, of course, all of this will also be included in our email to you, follow-up email with the links and things, but we'll notice that. So a little bit about Ever Forward Club. So our mission is to really address the underlying causes of dropout rates, youth violence, and the growing achievement gap through mentoring and social emotional development. Um, Ashanti, would you like to share a little bit about, before we move into like an example of, now that we have you here the whole time, a little bit about your inspiration and how Ever Forward Club started?
Yeah. Hey, folks, I was just giving a shout out to Ola and Adil. They're 2 of our global partners around the world. So I know it's late in their part of the world. So thank you both for being here. Yeah, just real brief. So Ever Forward, I was a first-year teacher in San Lorenzo, California, here in the Bay Area. I left the engineering career to become a math teacher, and I say I was really smart young men failing algebra. Now, as a person who loves math, I didn't tell my students they had to love math, but in California, you don't pass algebra, you don't graduate high school. So it's a gatekeeper. So because I know that, and I know that 14-year-olds often see their 18-year-old selves, I try to remind my students that your 18-year-old self is going to be pretty mad because you're going to cause him not to graduate. So I don't know what you want to do, but I realized that some of that worked with students and some that didn't. I saw young men struggling, but there was no supports for them at the school. And so we started with that. We started with, look, I see you. I think you're brilliant. Your grades wouldn't reflect brilliance, but so can we work on that? And I really just did it with a bribe. I said, I'll buy you lunch once a week, exchange for lunch, teach me to be a better teacher. And that's how the Ever Forward Club started. If you had told me when I invited those, I mean, there's a picture of that day. Like if I took a picture because I had spent a lot of money on that lunch, but if I took a picture of those young men that day, if you said, Ashanti, it looks like you're starting a nonprofit, I would have been like, I'm already a teacher. Don't push your luck because I don't think you can be more nonprofit than teaching. But as a now nonprofit leader, I'm clear you can get more nonprofit than teaching. It's possible that you have to chase your money every month. I don't recommend that to anyone ever, but I'm clear that the work I'm doing today, 21 years later, it's exactly the work I was supposed to be doing. And so I don't do it for the money. As you know, if you work in service work, we do it because we care for our youth and our communities. And so that's why I'm here. I'm so excited you all are here. And I'm excited about this conference coming up, and I'm excited by the folks who are going to support their community. So I'm complete with that. And we'll talk more about the history later. But any questions you have for us, that's how it all started 21 years ago at San Lorenzo High School.
Thank you, Ashanti. And from that amazing work, there are a couple of really great anecdotes and just kind of impact pieces that we'd love to share with you from some of the young men who have uh, gone through our programs. So I think you can all see my screen. Okay, hopefully the audio on my video here plays properly.
My name is Angel Garcia. My name is Jorge Tula. I go to Philip de Celebrate High School. I'm a junior and I'm 16 years old. I go to the same school, I'm a sophomore into my junior year, and I am 16 years old. I think for me, that I'll be taking in with me, and I feel like throughout my whole life as well, is that I was able to learn that there's strength in vulnerability. Just being in that group helped me find solutions to problems I've had since a kid, trauma as well. I was just really happy that Justin was able to show me that there was strength in vulnerability, that I shouldn't be scared to show my actual face, don't hide it behind the mask. Definitely same as Angel, and they taught me never to be scared of speaking about my emotions, speaking to anybody. I'm definitely going to take that thing on forward. Justin Martinez, he was really able to show me I shouldn't be scared to say nothing. And that's some advice I'll just take on for the rest of my life. I would say that the Young Men's Health Group is Brotherhood. That's love. It's a place where not only do you feel safe, but you know you're safe. You find family and those who you're able to share with. To me, the Young Men's Health Group is family. We went from strangers, but now we're all close. For me, it's love, people that care for you, people that you care about. It's just like a big family.
So these are two young men who are part of our young men's health groups that span over, I think, about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks across a few schools that we were working with. Next.
My name is Angel Garcia.
And for the folks who are, I think we have a few new folks who just joined us. Welcome. You're welcome to introduce yourself in the Zoom chat. You can share your name, where you're from, and maybe the name of the organization that you're part of. Also, just a reminder, if any questions pop up, you're also welcome to just share that in the Zoom chat as well. Two other quick clips here. This is one from Edwin, a participant at our last year's Young Men's Conference, which is our first ever one in Oakland.
To be able to inspire and help young men. Today was a vision for me to kind of realize what similar things that I want to create one day. I want to be able to just help young men persevere, reach their dreams, and reach their full potential. I believe that as a man, you have a difficult life. You will have a difficult life, and by doing that, you need a support system. And I just want to create that for young men like me. It was a big vision for me because I was able to be here, surround myself with a lot of people like-minded like me, and it created a vision of this is something that I would create an event. And this was a big event that I came by myself. None of my friends or none of the classmates I have at school came along. I decided to come along. I wasn't scared. I wasn't afraid. I would like to connect. I like to socialize. So that wasn't a problem for me. And yeah, this event was special and I want to create an event similar to this one. I'm not afraid to put myself in situations like this. I learned this through programs in my school as well, where I just step out my comfort zone. And this was definitely another step to mastering that skill and ability of stepping out my comfort zone. And yeah, I'm here. I wasn't afraid. I made connections, talked to the adults, made a few friends, and I'm glad I'm here. There was no regret in doing this. I feel proud. I feel happy to be here. This event has definitely changed the way I think about certain things. I definitely have more confidence in myself and my capabilities and the way I look at the perspective of life. Join the Brotherhood community.
And for everyone's reference, the Brotherhood community is a community. So, Dominic, you're going to love this. This might be perfect for your son. It's a community for young men, right? And so it's also curated. A lot of the discussions are curated by young men as well. Ashanti, can you share a little bit about the Brotherhood community since you're kind of the main moderator there?
Well, currently the Brotherhood is in development. Like we kicked it off at the last year's conference, and what we realized is that when our young men, when a lot of them go to social media, they're looking for dopamine hits, and because they're mostly content um, consumers and not always content creators, it's boring for them. There's no fights there. There's no drama. There's no scantily dressed people in the room. It's they have to create the content. And so what we realize is that we need more young people helping to collaborate on that. So it's this year will be its year of really development. We spent a lot of energy on our advocates community this past year, not as much on the Brotherhood community. So now that the advocates community is really growing, we are going to be spending that energy on the young men. So we have 2 advisory council young men who are going to help us to build that out. And we have 2 challenges that are going to happen in September and October leading up to the conference. There'll be cash prizes for young men getting engaged in there. So we're really trying to meet them where they are, but also trying to incentivize that. So it's under development. It's exciting. It's something we know that they're on these devices. The challenge is how do we get them to not always be looking for the dopamine rush that they're looking for in ways that oftentimes are not healthy. So that's something that we're working on, but that's part of the work. So, but for all of you that are already in the global in the advocacy and men's community, you probably heard from some young men in there, some of our calls, and there's 2 young men were in on podcast recently, and we'll share that in there as well, for you to be able to take a look at. Bro, will you put the link for folks who for the Brotherhood community in the chat for folks who need it for their young men? And if they don't have the community for the advocates, you can put that as well. Thank
Sure.
you. I'm complete with that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ashanti. Now, this next clip is actually a really great example of someone who is a parent who is also a coach. So if you, those of you on the call, if either you are a parent and an educator, or if you are very close with maybe your son is part of a sports team and they have a coach that's part of basketball coach, football coach, that would be an amazing person for us to connect with. So this is an example actually of Dream, who he is the basketball coach for a basketball team. Son also participated in the Young Men's Conference last year. And I'm going to play the video here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Ashanti because there's some really great accolades that Jareem received, as also part of the difference that he was able to make by attending this Young Men's Conference as well as attending with his son.
Our program is vulnerability. I try to teach my son and the rest of the young men in our program is vulnerability, to be able to show who you are and really be able to not be scared about what everybody else thinks about you or says about you, just to be who you are, who you truly authentic are. And I think that today was a great experience for our boys to really get them to understand who they are and how they grow to be men and men that they really want to be in the future. Something I learned about myself is patience, is, to allow my young man to be able to be taught by somebody else and not get frustrated with them because they're not listening and playing around. So it's good to learn patience and just to, sit there and let them enjoy themselves and have a good time.
I learned that there's always room for just like a lesson to come into your life for you to live by it. There's always different lessons that you can live by. And I feel like I asked questions that got me better as a man, that got me better as a young man, that can really help me in the future because I learned that life is really tough and there's great things that you can take and that really can help your life. It helps you when you have the ability to keep going and doing what you want to do without struggles.
continue to grow, listen. Everything is not always playing. Sometimes it's about focusing and learning and getting better.
I had a great experience here, and just like when I'm having fun,
Join the Brotherhood community.
Join the Brotherhood community. Link in bio.
And then
Yeah.
go ahead, Ashanti.
No, I'll just say, so Jareem, as a coach, he's a AAU team. It's one of the only free, no cost to the students AAU teams in the country. Last year, after bringing his young men, I think he brought 12, there's a lot of them. I think maybe 11 of them, young men from their program. We got invited, Ever Forward got invited to the All-Star game weekend. And because I was like, well, I knew that he had these young men that he was working with. We just asked him, hey, could you bring 10 young men? They gave us 10 spots. And his young men were able to come to the Foot Locker event for the All-Star Weekend, which was here in the Bay Area. That's NBA All-Star Weekend. And yeah, at the end of the year, he received a Coaching of the Year award from the PCA, Positive Coaching Alliance. He was a National Coach of the Year. And so it's really exciting to, he's going to make a video that's going to just talk to coaches to invite them to bring their teams. Like, we know coaches are busy and they got lives too, but we're really trying to encourage them to come out with their young men. And for those that are coaches around the country and around the world, to just do, even if it's not on that Saturday, even if it's on that Friday, because you only meet with them on that Friday, then do it then. We're trying not to like overwhelm people, overload them, but just to really like let it be focused. So yeah, so proud of Jareem, and so thank you for sharing. I'm complete there.
Beautiful.
To be able to inspire.
Great. And also, I think a few more folks joined. Welcome, everyone. If you'd like to quickly, just briefly introduce yourself, in the Zoom chat, you can share your name, organization that you're with, and the location that you're from. Be wonderful. We have folks from all around, not just the US, but also the world here with us, which is great. And then also, if you have any questions, feel free to put that in the Zoom chat as well. So a quick 2-3 minutes on just Ever Forward Club. So of course we have Ever Forward Club founder Ashanti Branch, right? He started Ever Forward Club in 2004, as he mentioned. And Ashanti, do you want to, now that we've got you here, is there anything that you'd like to add to what you mentioned earlier about the genesis of Ever Forward Club, and then how you kind of pivoted to doing it full time? And then in the next slide, we'll just go over the services that we provide.
Yeah, let's just go ahead forward. I want to make sure we answer questions for folks in the folks. I could talk about Ever Forward for hours. So just so you know, it's not because I don't want to talk about Ever Forward. It's that I want to make sure you get all you need, and those who are trying to make a decision on if you're going to participate in the conference or not. I'll say this part about Ever Forward. In 2020, when the pandemic happened, we were doing workshops in school. We were on a roll. We were on a roll. We had maybe 40 workshops scheduled between January of 2020 and May of 2020. Like every week, 2 or 3 workshops. I was on the road all the time, and literally everything shut down. And we had, as a leader of an organization, we had not diversified our funding streams. We were making money by doing these workshops in schools, and we lost 100% of our revenue. And it was not only scary, it was traumatizing. As a person who is barely, trying to scrape ends to make ends meet, and if you know about ends don't meet, right? So trying to scrape ends to come close together, it was a scary time. So if it wasn't for a gala that we had in February of 2020, I don't know where we would be right now, because the gala literally helped to kind of cover every workshop we lost. We lost 100% of our revenue, and it was like trying to pay people and pay staff and take care of all the responsibilities. So I'm here today in this movement, like looking at back 5 years ago. Well, I remember putting we just on our calendar, we just put stickers. We wrote COVID on it, and we just kept putting them over events. COVID. The whole calendar was yellow with all of these stickers. And looking back at that moment, I'm like, what am I going to do? And I got good masks. So in front of my team, I'm smiling every day. I'm bringing donuts. I'm trying to keep the energy alive. But I was at a moment of like, what's happening here? what happened when you work so hard for something and it falls apart, not your doing, but just by the circumstance of the world. And I'm a believer in a higher power, and I shook my fist and was like, what's going on here? What am I supposed to do next? And I don't know what your higher belief is, but thank goodness I believe in something bigger than me, because I knew I couldn't fix it, and it wasn't my job to try and understand it all. So I just did my best, and we just kept moving. So today we're here, 5 years later from that, that season of the world of our world, and realizing that I'm here with you today in this space because I just kept going one foot in front of the other. Ever Forward is it's not only a name of organization, it's what I try and do every day, even when it's hard. So when I meet young men and they're struggling, I'm like, you know what? I haven't been through what you've been through, but I've been through tough stuff too. What can we do to just take one step forward today? Like, what can we do just to move forward? So we try and use the name is it wasn't just created out of this, let's find a cool name. I've known what it felt like to feel like you're stuck and want to stop. And I think I try and show that every day. So yeah, that's all I can say. I can always talk about Ever Forward, but I want to make sure we get your questions answered because I'm excited for you all being here. Those who are thinking about hosting an event, I know we have some of our global partners here who made a video to share with you about their experience, and I know that Adil had a really really beautiful experience with some of his young men where he did a sports kind of quarter on quarter off. It was really cool. So I want to make sure you get to hear from each other as well. So I don't want to do all the talking, but that's all I'll say right now. And see, I was going to talk for 1 minute, and now it's like 3 minutes. It's just because this is purpose work. It's purpose work. So thank you so much, everybody. I'm complete.
Thank you, Ashanti. So I'm just going to briefly kind of move through some of our just some historical points, right? And then yes, I definitely want us to get to some of the anecdotes from our global partners. Um, okay, these are just some positive outcomes for students and teachers. Right? So as you can tell, and these are just a quick summary of our services. We have, so TOTM is taking off the mask. So we actually have a program right now encouraging schools to make masks, which is identifying your emotional mask, doing an anonymous activity, either digitally or doing it in person. And we can walk through that too a little bit later. And then these are some of our programs. Okay, now let's get to the Global Young Men's Conference here. So first, I just wanted to share with some of the new folks here on the call a little bit about us, of course, and then now moving forward. So getting ready for our Global Young Men's Conference, we have global gatherings by partners, and of course, our live event in Oakland on November 8th. And here's the purpose of the Global Young Men's Conference is really gathering our vision in Oakland particularly is to have 200 young men, grades 6 through 12, centered around food, fun, brotherhood, emotional wellness, leadership, and the sense of camaraderie. And then, of course, to encourage folks just around the world, very low ask, just to bring a couple of young men together around food, fun, and brotherhood. Right. Now I'm going to fast forward through because I think some of all of you have probably seen the introduction video. This is about 3.5 minutes, but I'm going to move past this.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
And then also just quickly share about last year's conference. So last year in 2024, we had our first conference in Oakland. It was 51 young men plus 30 volunteers. And these were some of the themes that were covered during that conference. We had goal setting. We had this Ashanti signature taking off the mask workshop, a variety of keynote speakers. We did movement exercises. Also, a lot of activities around their leadership, their vision for their lives, things like that. This is a recap video. I'm going to fast forward through this because we want to get to the interactive pieces, but this is there. Oh. Okay, and I'll move through the team really quickly too, just so you know who you can go to for what questions. So of course, we've got Ashanti. I'm here to support you all in your local areas with tools and resources as you create your own local gatherings. Amanda's our volunteer coordinator. You may recognize some of the folks here. They're on the call with us. Eloy is coordinating the in-person event that we have, as well as Alberto. And then Ro is our social media expert. So wherever we can tag each other as organizations or people, on the social media space, he's going to be the person who is going to coordinate that with you. He's also the manager of our online school community. Okay, so wanted to hear from our global partners. So Adil, you're here. Lebo Hong, you're here as well. We tasked some of our global partners to do a short video. And what a beautiful thing that you all are here with us. So I'm going to play your video, Adil, and then also invite you to say any additional words that you'd like to say. So this is from Adil. He's forgive me if we got your titles incorrectly, but the president of BABA, which is a fatherhood organization in Denmark. And we'll hear from Adil.
Hi, my name is Adil. I'm from Denmark, Copenhagen, and a daily leader of two social initiatives called BABA and Fathers Important. Both initiatives are a part of the Danish NGO, the Foundation of Social Responsibility. The Million Mass movement is certainly the mass exercise is an important part of the way we work, with new fathers, young males, because it allows them to speak about fatherhood, the wonderful aspect of it, the vulnerable aspects of it in a very constructive and insightful way. It even allows the facilitator to gain insight on him or herself. So consider this a very warm invitation to join the Million Mask movement and take up this exercise and work which allows young men to put words on their vulnerabilities in a very constructive way. We all talk about the male crisis. Many people think the future looks very dark, but I really believe conversations, an important conversation, facilitators can make a huge difference by insisting on having these difficult conversation and vulnerable conversation with young males. Warm regards from Copenhagen, Denmark.
So Adil, are you still with us there? I believe you are. I'd love for you to say, a few words of what the experience was like, kind of paint a picture for all of us who are on the call with you.
I'll try. And first of all, wonderful job with the video. I was like, okay, I'm just sending something, and then you do some magic, and you certainly did. So well done. Um, yeah. I don't know where to start. I mean, I can start by the ending, basically, which is that the mass exercise that I was inspired. I was inspired from you guys. Is just an integral part of the way we work and a very important tool in how we facilitate these kind of difficult conversations. And yeah, it just aligns very well with how we work with fathers normally. Like what I like about this exercise is basically, and yeah, that might be my point for tonight, is that when you work with male or men or young and young men, I think like the general expectations from society is sometimes very low. I think especially when it comes to addressing vulnerabilities and yeah, male expressions in generally. Like we think it's necessary to have something external besides the conversation, and that we have to yeah, meet around a bonfire. I don't know, something stereotypical. And what I discovered from yeah many years in this field is that if you have courage as a facilitator and you have the right tools, you can just kickstart these conversations. You don't and I know we work with the we have combined it with sports and other activities sometimes, but I really believe that if you want to do something about the so-called male crisis, you have to believe in men, and you have to believe in boys, and that they are able to have these conversations without anything else sometimes. So yeah, the mass exercise is a very powerful tool for that. So thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you, Adil, and for the difference you're making, not just for young men, but also fathers.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring, the work that you're doing there.
Mhm.
Next is I would love to share an anecdote from Lebo Hong. Lebo Hong Maololi. Apologies, Lebo, if I pronounced your last name incorrectly. Would love to. We're going to show a little video of the work that Lebo Hong has done in his community of South Africa. Then of course, we'd love to have you share a little bit too. Oh.
Hello, my dear friends. I hope you guys are good and that you are doing well. My name is Lebo Hong. I am based in South Africa, this beautiful, beautiful country of the great Nelson Mandela. I'm running an organization here called G2G Transformation and Mentoring Institute. What we do in this organization, we are reaching out to the boy child. We're helping the boy child transition from boyhood to manhood. How do we do that? We do that by having programs such as character development, personal development, and then we do this via different intervention programs such as workshops, such as seminars, such as one-on-one mentoring and coaching, such as group coaching, and many, many, many other diverse intervention programs. And what has made this to be even more possible is when we understood that we are not the only one that are doing this. We got introduced to Everforth Club, we got to be introduced to Million Mask Movement. And ever since we partnered with Everforth Club and Million Mask Movement, I am telling you, we have been empowered to make sure that we reach out to as many young men as we can. We have been partnered with this organization. In fact, we have received tools that are helping us to be even more effective, even more impactful. Young men, please come on board. There's so much to do. You can come and partner with us, come and partner with Everforth Club, come and partner with Million Mass Movement. I'm telling you, you will not regret. I am so looking forward to seeing you in our next call, being part of this partnership. I'm telling you, it will help you to make such a great difference in your locality, wherever you are. Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to seeing you. God bless you. Peace.
Beautiful work by
Oh,
Lee.
thank you.
Lebo, I think you're still on the call with us, right, brother? Would you like to share a little bit more about your experience?
Yeah, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
All right, thank you. Good evening. It has been quite long without me joining you guys, and it's great. It's great to meet you yet again. Right. I think as I have already alluded to the video, that when we started, it was a bit rusty and difficult in the sense that you are starting a program and you don't know that there are other people that are busy doing almost the same work in different parts of the world. And when I got to know about the Million Mask and the program that they are busy with, I got excited because I felt that I needed the necessary tools that would be able to help me reach out to the young boys and help them to see things that normally no one actually helps them to see. Therefore, the exercise of having them to do the masks has been really impactful. I still believe that among many other programs that I got to be acquainted to, this is one of the best tools that I got to be introduced to, because in all the programs that I do, I start with the drawing of the masks and the impact that it has, helping the boys to open up and speak about things that they normally don't talk about, and exposing their vulnerability. It's been one of the great experience, one of the greatest experience ever. One of the things that I'm planning to do now is to introduce it to their fathers, because I've been more with the boys, and so thus far I think I have seen such a great results, and I want to thank you guys for having had the vision to come up with this tool, and it has been doing wonders in my area, and I'm hoping to reach other areas outside my area using the mask, and getting the young boys to open up and to understand that being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness, but it's actually a sign of strength. And I'm really grateful and thankful to having met you. And I'm looking forward to having greater moments and empowering sessions with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lebo Hong. Thank you again for the work that you do. Just big hugs to you. We'd love to hear from one more of our global partners. Ola, since you're here with us from B-Man Advocacy, we didn't get a chance to get your video, but we got you live, so that's even better. So we'd love to hear from one more of our global partners, and then we'll open up the floor for questions. So
yeah, thank you, Paz.
We'd love to hear from you. So great to see you. Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, very inspired to be here and to be part of this global movement. I'm like a good partner to Ashanti in this movement for over 6 or 7 years now. I think I met Ashanti 2018.
Ola, am I frozen or is Ola frozen?
I think Ola is frozen.
Oh,
Oh,
man. Yeah.
we just lost you, Ola. We just lost you. Yeah, well, he was gonna say we met in 2018.
Yeah.
I was in Nigeria for a Hive global conference, and Ola has been making masks with boys there for a long time. So if we don't get him back, let's open up to questions because we're running out of time.
Yep, absolutely. So the next will be, opening up to questions. So for, what questions do folks have now that you've kind of seen some of the impact of our work? We'll go back to the toolkit later, but yes, opening up the floor to questions or answers. These are some questions that have come across kind of our Ever Forward Club kind of ecosphere. Is there anyone here that has any of these questions or any other questions that you might
The
have?
network is fluctuating from here, and I'm sorry about that.
Oh, Ola, we've got you back.
Yeah, the network seems to be unstable. I'm sorry about.
No problem. Did you want to take a moment to complete your thought, and then we'll go back to questions? Okay, no worries. I think it's still unstable. So yes, let's go ahead and open up the floor for questions.
Does anybody, I guess one question we'll ask, a direct question to you is, does anyone here have a question about what they want to create in their community? Do they need help reaching out to do they need help, or did we not cover something you were looking for? Was there something else that you were looking for that we can cover for you to just close? We have 2 months, but we know that we want to start locking in all of our deal. There you go. Hey, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually in conversations with a local high school about doing stuff for young males, especially males with the ethnic minority background here. And yeah, I'm wondering what else beside the math exercise, what kind of work do you do? Because I'll just quickly explain like how how I how we work with fathers. So you have a chance to like maybe understand my way of thought. Like we basically do uh, programs with like where we meet 7 times with new fathers, for example, where we do like the mass exercise and some of our own exercise, and we have meetings with the professional who revolves around children in the first 1,000 days, and yeah, a lot of relevant thing for our target group. And I was like wondering, um, what else beside the mass exercise do you guys provide? I mean, I guess I can understand with the Brotherhood, the movement that there is some kind of community establishment, community building in your program as well. But could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So one of the things that we are gonna do, so since you've already done the mask, you're kind of like moving. Some people here who've never done it, that's gonna be a big deal for them. So for you, I would say, we have lots of activities. I'll share with you some other new activity, not new things we've been doing, but other activities
Yeah.
that you can test out. We have lots of, I mean, probably it's a binder of a bunch of activities, but it's like, oh, you got to find the one that fits with the needs and the space and all the different details. One activity that I think may be really powerful for you and your students is called the River of Life, and I'll plan to share it with you just after this call. I'll send you an overview of it, and it's a way for people to come together. It's a piece of paper and a pen. That's all you really need. If you got markers and colors, great. But piece of paper and a pen, piece of paper and a pen, and you really much just think of your life as a river, right? Are there you would go first as kind of showing some examples of things in your river of life. And I think it's a way of just like metaphorically, we use the mask as our anonymous tool. The river of life is I'm gonna show my river to one person or someone, and I'm gonna tell them about one. I'm gonna tell them about this boulder that dropped in the middle of my river of life that really made things turbulent. And I use like they get to kind of be creative. And oh wow, just lost something. Oh, okay, I just saw myself right here. You can get creative and you can keep it basic. Some students just draw a line and they write 4 or 5 events along that river of life. Here's the time I was born to the time I was here. Our activities are always trying to like give them a experience that without asking them to share too much, lets them share openly. And then they decide how deep they go. So if I'm just River of Life, I can just be keeping it simple. I love to play soccer. I went to a big match over here. I did this thing. Great. Share wherever your comfort level is, but other people will go deeper and it gives them the levels of room. So we have lots of activities we can share with you, brother. And let's just jump on a call. for the Global Young Men's Conference, we were just trying to ask people to keep it simple because I don't want to give people a whole bunch of stuff and then they're like, what do I do with all this stuff? We're saying just keep it simple. But yeah, you let me know what I can do to support you in this next phase, and I'll send you a file, a PDF with plenty of other activities, and you can look through it and say, nah, these are not going to work, and then we can talk more.
Right. Thank you, Shanti.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Any other questions? The floor is yours, friends.
Lebo Hong, I'll share it with you as well. I'll send it to you as well. For the global conference, we're not going to send it out to people because it could sound more in detailed and it could sound harder to do. We're trying to keep them just doing the basic. But if you all have been doing the mask already, I will whatever you need from me, I'll be glad to share with you. So I'll share it with you as well.
Okay, since there's no question, can I just share one thought about working with males in general?
Yeah,
of course.
So, it's like a thought that I share with some of my esteemed colleagues here in Copenhagen, and I think probably all of you, but I just think it's a good yes, a good observation, which is that when we work with men and young boys, and I always tell professional, like they ask me or our organization a lot of times, like, how do we engage with men? How do we strengthen our cooperation uh, with boys and with fathers? And it can be school teachers, it could be nurses, it could be all kind of different social workers. We get asked a lot because we have many years experience working with fathers, especially. And my top one advice is always to embrace the silence, because I don't know if it's a male thing or something, but sometimes you, as a facilitator who work with men, you really have to embrace the silence, even though it can be very awkward and it can feel like it's very long. It's often not so long, and and the awkwardness is quickly faded away because it's not because people are uninterested or anything. It's just they want to. Sometimes my experience is that you get more well thought and reflected answers sometimes. Sometimes you don't, but a lot of times you do. Um, so I think just I wanted to share this because one of the reasons that all of our organization and work exist is because that the men in general don't have the same language about vulnerability, about fatherhood, about many kind of things the same way as women does. And I know the reality is not so black and white, but that's basically where many of our organization and work exist, um, and by embracing the silence, we allow it to grow.
Adil, thank you. And I think that's one of the number one teacher tips that we give new teachers is because in the silence, it feels like no one's paying attention. So you think like you're doing a bad job. So we tell teachers, count to 5, count to 10, count to 15. It's gonna feel like you counted to 80, but our brains are moving faster in that moment. So yeah, I thank you for that. And it's very powerful. I can wait. I can wait. Right? I can wait. And then and what you'll find is that sometimes like somebody will, or you have to rephrase the question. It means that maybe the question wasn't clear, right? So it's like, oh, okay, I probably didn't do a good job there. So yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
We'll add that in the tips and tools for folks who are going to be hosting these events in their community, just to, because sometimes I see definitely with mentors, they want to fill every second. They got something has to be happening, and it's just like it's just awkward silence, but it's gonna be okay. Yeah. So thank you for that, brother. Well, folks, Parth, I know we're running close to time. I want to make sure we let people out on time, and uh, just I'll just say one announcement to folks. Hey, if you have any questions, please drop them in the community. Send us a message. We're trying to keep a lot of community communication in the main group so that we can make sure everyone's getting to see and learn from the feedback. If you have a personal question for us, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be around. We're meeting with the young men right now, so Alberto and I are going to jump off because we're meeting with the young men here in the local who are going to help plan our local event. So I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for your time. Brother John Green, I'm looking forward to talking to you soon.
Everyone, I just put a couple of resource links in the Zoom chat. There's a link to our toolkit page, so keep an eye out for that. For those of you who are a little bit more AI friendly and like using those tools, we also have a custom GPT that we've created. The link is there. So any questions that you have about Ever Forward Club, any kinds of tools that you'd like to get access to, you can find it through the GPT. Great. Any last thoughts, comments, questions? We'll have 60 more seconds.
Yeah. Augustine, I wanted to see if you had anything. I know you shared your story and about your ministry, so I just wanted to. Or are they still there? Okay.
Wonderful, everyone. Well, thank you so much for partnering with us. Thank you for being here. Of course, you'll get recordings. We're going to send out, a recording of this as well as other links to other resources tomorrow. And thank you for the difference that you're making for the young men in your communities. Okay, take care, everyone.
Yeah,
Hugs.
wonderful.
Sounds great, everyone.
All right.
Awesome.
Take care. Thank you for hosting.
Bye.